Hello, my friends. Does your home look clean, but still carry a smell you can't quite name? I'll never forget the day a friend came over. I had polished the counters, vacuumed the rugs, and even lit a candle. The house looked spotless, but the moment she walked in, I caught it too. The faint, musty smell of old papers stacked in the corner and a dampness that lingered in the carpet. It wasn't dirt. It wasn't laziness. It was years of things quietly holding on to scents I no longer noticed. That's when I realized something no one had ever told me. A tidy home isn't always a fresh home. Clutter doesn't just take up space, it carries the weight of hidden smells. And often, those smells live in the very objects we've kept around the longest, the ones tied to memories and comfort. For many of us over 60, this is the fear we never say out loud. We don't want our homes to carry what some call the smell of old age. We don't want our children or guests to feel distance the moment they step inside, even if we've worked hard to keep things neat. And yet, it happens quietly, because no one warned us where those hidden odors come from. The good news is, you don't need endless scrubbing or expensive sprays. What you need are a few clear, even brutal but freeing rules. Rules that help you release what holds on to the past and bring in the kind of freshness that makes your home welcoming again, not just to others, but to you. In this video, I'll share 7 rules that sound tough, but are actually gentle in practice. Each one is designed to help you eliminate hidden smells for good, so your home feels light, breathable, and alive again. And here's the secret. The last rule is the one most people never talk about, the one that changed my home more than all the others combined. I'll save that for the end, so stay with me. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching from, and how has your relationship with your home's freshness been lately? We read every single comment, and your story might be just what someone else needs today. Now let's begin with the first brutal but life-giving rule. Rule 1. The fabric toss rule. When was the last time you truly noticed the fabrics in your home? Your curtains, the old throw blanket on your sofa, or even the towels tucked away in the bathroom closet? Fabrics are quiet keepers of time. They don't just hold memories, they hold on to smells too. Over the years, they soak up the scent of cooking, moisture, even the change of seasons. No matter how much you clean, sometimes the air still feels heavy. That's not because you failed, it's because fabrics carry life longer than they should. I once sat with Mrs. Linda, a 74-year-old widow who whispered, "I thought my house just smelled old, like me." She felt ashamed when her granddaughter visited, thinking the smell was a reflection of her. But it wasn't her at all. It was her 20-year-old curtains, never replaced and long past their freshness. When she finally let them go, she called me a week later laughing, "For the first time, my living room smells like air, not age." And isn't that the fear many of us carry silently? That our homes will betray us with a smell we don't even notice, and others will think it's us. It's not about being dirty or careless. It's about no one telling us that fabrics age quietly, even when they look fine. I've learned that letting go of old fabrics isn't throwing away comfort. It's choosing comfort that still serves us today. A fresh towel, a lighter curtain, a pillow that smells like sunshine instead of storage. As one woman in Florida told me, replacing my curtains felt like I'd replaced the air in my whole house. That small act didn't just freshen her home, it restored her confidence. So maybe today, just take a slow walk through your home. Notice the fabrics you've stopped noticing. Pick one, just one, that you're ready to release. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. One small fabric swap can shift the way your whole space feels, and you can do this too. And fabrics are just the beginning, because once you address them, you'll discover another culprit hiding in plain sight: wood. Let's move to the next rule. Rule 2. The paper purge rule. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you opened a drawer or a box and found old papers you didn't even remember keeping? Bank statements from decades ago, yellowing bills, instruction manuals for appliances you don't own anymore. Paper has a way of multiplying in silence. And the truth is, it doesn't just clutter your drawers. It carries old smells too. A stack of papers can give your home a stale, heavy scent that lingers no matter how much air freshener you use. I remember visiting Mrs. Diane, 69, who had 3 shoeboxes under her bed filled with every bill her husband ever paid. She told me I couldn't throw them away because they were proof of our life together. But she also admitted that every time she opened them, the musty smell made her chest tighten. The weight wasn't just in her hands, it was in her heart. When we gently sorted through one box together, she realized most of the papers had no meaning anymore. She kept a few with his handwriting and let the rest go. That night she called and said, "For the first time in years, my room doesn't smell like old paper. It smells like me again." And isn't that the unspoken fear? That letting go of papers means letting go of our past, or worse, that without them, we'll forget. But papers don't hold your memories. You do. What they do hold is dust, ink, and time that turns sour. My own perspective shifted when I realized a drawer full of paper is not proof of a life well lived. It's proof that I haven't trusted myself to remember. One senior I spoke with put it perfectly. I thought I was keeping my history safe in those files, but I was really just keeping myself trapped in the smell of yesterday. So maybe tonight, take one pile of paper, a stack on your desk, or the drawer you avoid opening. Ask yourself, which of these still serve me today? Keep 1 or 2 if they truly matter, and release the rest. You'll be surprised how the air in your home feels lighter, and how your heart does too. You can do this too. And if papers carry hidden weight, what about the furniture that soaks up scents you don't even notice anymore? Let's move to the next rule. Rule 3. The container crackdown. Have you ever opened a kitchen cabinet or a closet and felt like an avalanche of plastic containers, lids, or old jars was about to fall on you? We save them thinking they'll be useful one day. But the truth is, most of them just sit, forgotten, absorbing odors from old food or damp spaces. And slowly, they become tiny storage boxes of hidden smells. I remember visiting my neighbor, Mrs. Evelyn, 72. She had a tower of containers in her pantry, margarine tubs, old takeout boxes, even coffee jars from the 80s. When I asked her why she kept them, she whispered, "Because throwing them out feels wasteful. And what if I need them?" But the twist was this: she rarely used them. Instead, they stacked up, collected dust, and every time she opened the door, there was a faint sour smell. She said, "It doesn't smell bad exactly, but it doesn't smell fresh either. It smells old." And isn't that the quiet fear many of us carry? That our home might start to smell like time itself. Not because we're dirty, but because we've let too many containers, boxes, and bottles linger past their purpose. We're afraid that by throwing them out, we're being wasteful, yet keeping them traps us in a cycle of clutter and hidden odors. From my own experience, I realized something important. A container that no longer serves you is not useful. It's a burden. It doesn't just take space in your cabinet. It takes space in your air and in your peace of mind. One woman in Ohio put it best. "I thought my collection of containers meant I was prepared, but what it really meant was that I was living in yesterday's leftovers." That line struck me, because it's not about the container, it's about our willingness to keep air and space fresh for today. So here's a gentle step you can try. Pick one shelf or one drawer of containers. Match lids to bottoms. If it doesn't fit, if it's cracked, if you haven't used it in a year, let it go. Keep a small set that truly serves you and donate or recycle the rest. You'll be amazed at how much lighter your kitchen feels and how even the air seems cleaner. You can do this too. Now, if containers can hold on to hidden smells, imagine what your old furniture might be carrying. Let's move to the next rule, and you may be surprised at what's been lingering under your very seat. Rule 4. The shoe shelf rule. Have you noticed how the smell of shoes can quietly take over an entire entryway? You walk in, the house looks tidy, but there's a faint musty note, and it lingers. Shoes carry more than dirt. They carry moisture, dust, even tiny traces of the places we've walked. I remember talking with Margaret, a 68-year-old widow who prided herself on keeping a neat home. She confessed that even after mopping, her hallway still had a stale odor. The culprit? A pile of shoes, stacked by the door, some decades old, never cleaned, just moved around. She whispered to me, "I was afraid guests would think I'd stopped caring." And that's the hidden fear, isn't it? That others will sense neglect, when really it's just that no one taught us how to manage these silent odor traps. Here's a simple way forward. Limit your shoe shelf to the pairs you actually wear in a given season. Wipe soles with a damp cloth before placing them back. Slip in a small sachet of baking soda or cedar chips. They absorb odors without chemicals. And just as important, let go of shoes that no longer serve your feet. If they pinch, if they're cracked, if they sit untouched year after year, they're not keeping you company anymore. They're just holding on to smells. From my own journey, I learned that clearing the shoe shelf isn't just about odor. It's about stepping into each day with freshness and dignity. A woman in Texas once told me, "When I let go of the shoes I couldn't wear anymore, it felt like I was admitting where I am in life, but it also gave me room to breathe." That honesty moved me, because sometimes freedom smells like cedar and clean air. So maybe this week, take 5 minutes with your shoe shelf. Sort, wipe, release. You might be surprised at how much lighter your entrance feels. You can do this too. And if shoes can carry yesterday's weight into today, imagine what's hiding inside your kitchen sponge. Let's go there next. It may shock you. Rule 5. The 24-hour rule. Sometimes it only takes one day for an object to turn into clutter. A shopping bag left on the chair. Yesterday's newspaper folded but not moved. A sweater draped across the couch. You walk past it once, twice, 3 times, and suddenly it feels like it belongs there, even though it doesn't. That's where the 24-hour rule comes in. It's simple. If something enters your home and you don't put it in its place within 24 hours, it has to leave, either donated, recycled, or returned. This keeps new things from lingering, gathering dust, and quietly adding hidden smells you don't notice until guests do. I remember visiting Mrs. Lopez, a gentlewoman in her 70s, who told me she used to let mail and grocery bags pile up for just a day. But then days became weeks, and when her granddaughter came over, she whispered, "Grandma's house smells old." That broke her heart. She started using the 24-hour rule, sorting papers, unpacking groceries, hanging clothes immediately. Within a month, she said, "My home smelled like air again, not like storage." And I understand her. My quiet fear has always been that my children or guests would remember the smell of stale piles more than the warmth of my company. That's why I keep this rule close. It's not about harsh decluttering. It's about protecting the freshness of the memories we're still making. As one senior told me during a community group, "It isn't the cleaning that keeps my home fresh. It's the small promises I keep with myself." And the 24-hour rule is one of those gentle promises. If you try this, start small. Maybe it's with your mail. Maybe it's with your laundry basket. Pick just one thing and hold it to the 24-hour standard. You'll notice the lightness almost right away. You can do this too. So tell me, what's one thing in your home right now that's been sitting longer than a day, waiting for your decision? Share it below. You might inspire someone else to finally let theirs go. And now, let's move to the next rule, because freshness doesn't only live in what we remove, but also in what we allow to stay alive. Rule 6. The textile turnover. When was the last time you truly refreshed the fabrics in your home? Not just washed them, but rotated them? Curtains, blankets, towels, even cushion covers. They hold scents longer than we realize. What looks clean can still whisper of last winter, last season, even last decade. The textile turnover rule is simple. Every few months, turn your fabrics. Wash what you've been using, bring out a different set, and let them take their turn. Fresh air, fresh fabric, fresh energy. You don't need to buy new things. You only need to remember the ones you already have, waiting quietly in the closet. I remember visiting Aunt Mary, a woman in her late 70s who lived alone after her husband passed. Her home was neat, polished even, but there was a heaviness in the air, a blend of fabric softener from years ago mixed with time. One day, her daughter suggested pulling out the floral curtains Mary had packed away years before. They washed them, hung them up, and for the first time in months, Mary said, "It feels like the house is breathing with me again." She smiled, and in that moment, it wasn't just curtains being turned over, it was her spirit. The silent fear many of us carry is that our homes begin to smell old, not because we are careless, but because time lingers in fabric. And worse, we worry that visitors, even our own grandchildren, notice before we do. That fear is real. I've felt it myself. That's why I keep this rule alive. I don't see it as housework. I see it as a way of keeping my home in step with the seasons of my own life. Every time I rotate the towels or switch the bedspread, it reminds me, life is still moving, and so am I. A woman in my community group once said, "Changing my curtains was like changing the air in my head. I didn't realize how heavy it felt until it was lighter." That's the gift of textile turnover. It doesn't just refresh the room, it refreshes you. So maybe start small. Open your linen closet. Pick one set of sheets or a pair of curtains you haven't seen in a while. Let them breathe again, and let yourself breathe with them. You can do this too. Which fabric in your home do you think deserves a little turnover first? Share it below. You might spark an idea for someone else. And as we move on, remember this. Freshness doesn't come from scrubbing harder. It often comes from choosing lighter, more intentional habits. Let's look at the next rule, where intention is everything. Rule 7. The evening air ritual. Do you ever notice how the air in your home feels heavier at night? Not dirty, just still, like the day has settled into the walls and the curtains. That heaviness often carries smells too, ones we don't notice until someone else does. The evening air ritual is beautifully simple. Before you close the day, open a window, even just a few inches, and let the air move. It only takes 5 minutes. Let the old air leave and invite the night breeze in. If safety is a concern, crack the window while you're still awake, then close it before bed. I think of Mrs. Thompson, a widow in her late 70s. She told me once that her home always smelled faintly of yesterday's cooking, even when the kitchen was spotless. One evening, her granddaughter asked, "Grandma, can we open the window before we read?" They did, and after just a few minutes, she said the whole room felt different, lighter, kinder. From then on, it became their little ritual, story time with fresh air. The quiet fear many of us hold is that our homes trap us in the past, that the air itself carries an old smell we no longer sense. We worry it might make loved ones uncomfortable, or worse, make them visit less often. That's why this ritual matters. For me, the evening air ritual isn't just about freshness. It's about closure. Opening the window feels like releasing the day, its worries, its weight, its stale moments. When I close it again, I feel like I'm choosing peace, choosing rest. One older woman in a support group once said, "When I open the window at night, I feel like I'm telling myself, today is done and I did enough." Isn't that beautiful? Not about scrubbing harder, not about keeping up appearances, just a gentle reset of air and spirit. So maybe tonight, try it for yourself. Open a window, breathe slowly, let your home exhale with you. You can do this too. Which room will you give a breath of fresh air to tonight? Share below. You never know who your answer might encourage. And as we close this last rule, here's what I want you to remember. A home that smells fresh isn't about fancy products. It's about little acts of release, small rituals of care. And when you combine them, they make your home feel truly alive again. So as we close today, remember this. You don't need exhausting scrubbing marathons or endless hours of cleaning. All you need are 7 clear but gentle rules, brutal in decision, yet kind in spirit. These small shifts are enough to release the hidden smells that linger and keep your home feeling truly fresh, forever. And let me remind you, you're not losing your history. You're making space for the life you're still living. Every item you release, every fabric you refresh, every window you open, it isn't about erasing your story. It's about making sure your story continues in a space that feels light, welcoming, and free. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which brutal rule spoke to you the most today? Share it below. You never know whose heart you'll touch, whose courage you'll spark, simply by telling your story. And if no one has reminded you today, let me be the one. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're simply ready. And you can do this too. Until next time, be kind to your space, and even kinder to yourself.